happy you got this thing on your shirt right there, doesn't it? It says Elder Cincinnati. Actually, it says Cincinnati Elder. I said it upside down. See if you were paying attention, that's all. So this is important for us. This is critically important. This is what we talk to our people about. When somebody makes a decision that affects us and starts a riot and puts the world spotlight on the city, where's that person fitting? And how do we have to address that person? We have to address that person in a specific fashion. But it's not about saying you're a bad person because you did something. That's not our role. Our role is to identify the truth, to identify facts and take those facts, that information and facts, and compare it against standards and then provide an explanation of whether or not those standards are in compliance with the organization's policies and procedures. Are we achieving the mission, the goal of the agency? We're not here to stand in judgment of a person's character. It's about conduct and it's about performance. And when you step over the line and say, that's a bad person because that person did this, then I say you're wrong and you're not doing the right thing. The only thing we ever have to say is whether or not the conduct and performance is in compliance with standards, the standards of excellence that we have in our institution. I'm not here to judge somebody based on them being a human being. That's not my role, it's not my job, and I don't think it's any of our job. I think that's kind of reserved for one individual. So here's what happened after the riots. I'm in front of a group of about 80 employees in the department, both sworn and non-sworn. And I did a little bit of a rah-rah trying to get morale going because morale's kind of hurting. And this group was a group of peer counselors, about 80 people that volunteered to take their own personal experiences, life, be it with an experience with death or whatever it is, and be there as a counselor for someone that they work with. And so I gave them, hey, here's how important it is, and blah, blah, blah. I thought to myself, okay, I can walk out of here now. Any questions? And one guy had to raise his hand, sitting right about where you are. And his name was Phil Black, a young officer, young African-American officer, and he said to me, he said, so Chief, he said, tell me, he says, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? What are we going to do about what, Phil? Well, how are we going to change the department? We just had riots, the weight of the world's coming down, also the Department of Justice is here. Nobody trusts us anymore, especially in the black community, nobody trusts us. You're the chief, what are we going to do? I wasn't really ready for that question, Phil. I was trying to slide out the side door here. Are you kidding me? And I'm standing there and I'm trying to do, I'm trying to think of something to come. What's the best thing you can do when somebody asks you a question and you're on the stage and you can't answer it? You attack back. That's the best thing you can do is attack. What the hell are you going to do, Phil? What are you going to do about it? And suddenly asking something like that, it hit me all of a sudden. What are we here for? Peer counseling, aren't we? We're here for peer counseling. This is about conduct and performance. And it hit me, and I said, well, that's what you're here for today, isn't it? You're peer counselors? What caused all this? The conduct and performance of one employee created all of this? Not to say that there wasn't a historical perspective, not to say that this wasn't the last straw that broke the camel's back, not to say that there wasn't change that was overdue, but here we are at this point in history, and it's fallen to us. What are you going to do? Versus what am I going to do? I'm the chief. What, pass some new rules? Get some new policies? Pound my fist harder on the desk? Does that do anything? I'm one person here in a 1,400 person department, counting sworn and non-sworn. What are you going to do, Phil? All of you are Phil right now. Here's what we have to talk about here, and the answer and solution sat right there in the room, and the question that he asked me was very simply right here. Oh, how do I go backwards, Phil? Quit touching stuff, I know. Right there. The answer sat right here in peers. I can pass all the rules and everything that I want, but if people choose not to follow those rules, or they don't aspire to the mission of the agency and don't try to achieve the goals that go out on their own, they don't pay attention to their oath of office. Here's my oath of office here. And I asked everybody in that room, somebody recite for me the oath of office. Nobody could. That was disconcerting to me. I swear to support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio, the charter laws and ordinances of the city of Cincinnati, I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of my office according to the law and the best of my ability. What else do you need, Phil? What else do you need? You need rules on top of that? Here's what I need. I need a group of people who would adhere to their oath of office, and through peer pressure, we talk about peer pressure can make you do things that, hey, when I drink beer, all your buddies are drinking beer out there, so it's okay, go drink beer, everybody else doesn't. Drive too, it's no big deal. Usually the other person gets hurt anyway, don't worry about it, just go and do it, it's okay, we all do it, it's cool. But peer pressure also can cause you to do things the right way, can it? And that's what we had to tell our cops starting off right there that day. In fact, all of our employees, sworn and non-sworn. Peer pressure? You want the chief to give you a new mission? You got an oath of office. Peer pressure. And ask yourself this question here. When we talk about conduct and performance, the performance of the officer to not follow rules caused a bullet to go at the end of the firearm, hit a 19-year-old young man in the chest, severed his aorta. He didn't do anything to be killed for. I've been told by people all over the city, the kid wouldn't have run, he'd still be alive. Really? Is that how you want me to make a decision about a life here? Is that standard okay? If you didn't run, you'd still be alive? Because if that's the standard we're going to go by, then if your child ever runs from the police, Lord knows I grew up 4 blocks down that way and I ran like hell from the police when I did something. Ran like I caught once, never got caught again. My dad beat me within an inch of my life. He was a cop. Cops brought you home. I ran till I couldn't run any further. Why? Police car coming down the street. Might know something we did. They're clairvoyant. You know everything. But think about it. Think about this and think about this thing that happened here in terms of peer pressure. Can you, peers, pressure your people to make the right decisions? Or is it okay to have a thin blue line? Is it okay to cover up for each other? When we start making the decision, stop making the decision to cover up for each other and to stand up and say, here's truly what happened and tell the truth, because what do you really have to lose anyway when you tell the truth? Somebody's going to say you did something stupid. Don't worry about it. 7 days from now, somebody will have done something that was dumber than what you did, and they'll be on the front page. Don't worry about it. You know, tell the truth. So the truth of it is, and I told them, is right here, make a decision. How much do we value our oath of office? How much do we stand in here and adhere to a standard of conduct that we have that helps us to aspire to reach the goals and mission of an agency? How important is that? How important is it? How important is it to Jim Tressel right now at Ohio State University? For him to have looked at somebody, a student, and said, that's wrong, we're not going to tolerate that here. What a difference should that make for him in his life? Let's say, I didn't know anything about it. Really? How come there's this email over here? Really? Destroy everything you worked for in your life because a trophy was important? Are you kidding me? And that's what this came down to here. That's the entire message we try to send. So when we talk to them about that, I show them this too. This too. Making decisions here, confidence. You know what? It's not easy to do all the time. Because sometimes you got to make a decision that's going to have a really nasty backlash to it because it wasn't popular. Your decision wasn't popular all of a sudden. Oh, you could have done it a different way and it would have been easier. Yeah? And maybe I could have just compromised my ethics just a little bit too. You know, when we start cutting those ethical corners, what happens to us? Well, I got away with that. I'll just make the cut a little bit wider next time, a little bit wider. And all of a sudden, you've got a diagonal line that goes from the southwest corner to the northeast corner of your ethical box that you're in there. And it's cut in half and it's fully compromised. And that's not good for us. So we've got to do this. We've got to have the confidence to stand alone. You've got to have the courage to make those tough decisions. Once you do that, listen to people, gathering information. It doesn't mean I've got to make this decision in a vacuum. I can call other people and say, what do you think? Because chances are somebody's already had to make the decision that you've got to make, or a similar decision, or they've been in a similar predicament. For me, Howard Whitson. Howard was on the police department 100 years. And you'll still see him walking around by the Reds in the Bengals Stadium, down on the field all the time, because the Brown family thinks a lot of him. And because the Castellini family thinks a lot of him, because he's got institutional knowledge. Like this one, Howard. He was a sergeant. I'm the chief. Are you kidding me? Why would I ask a sergeant? I'm the chief. I got to be smarter than him, don't I, Andy? Huh?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's a good answer. Excellent answer. I was like, Howard, here's where I am. Here's the predicament I got. What do you think? I mean, you ever seen anything like this? And we say, back in 1974, such and such happened, and here's what we did. But when I look back at it, I wish we'd have done something a little bit different and tried this over here. Then I have to go back into my office and sit there for an hour and think, what the hell is he talking about? It has nothing to do with what I just asked me. And then it would hit you. Oh, yeah. Yes, it does. Oh, he's telling me they did something similar. And they did something, but there was a better thing they could have done. So if we take that experience and we improve on it, we can make it. Got it. Howard! Oh, he already went home for the day. I'm still sitting in there trying to figure out a simple lesson he gave me. Now, these are the types of things you have to do. And this is the big thing I told the guys all the time. I told everybody. Right does not always equal popular. Turn that around. Popular does not always equal right either, does it? The inverse of that is true. So when it comes to making a decision, it has to be about the standards and ethics, not just of your personal life, but of your organization, that makes a difference. What if the policeman that shot Timothy Thomas walks in and says, I made a mistake? It doesn't bring back this child. He's going to get disciplined. He's going to get sued. I'm going to get sued. We're all going to get sued. But mom at least knows the truth about what happened. Doesn't have to have the anguish of trying to pull the teeth out of a police department and find out what happened. That's a huge issue. A huge issue. And it's the same for all of us, I think, in any part of life that we look at. We talk about crisis management too. Crises happen all the time. Ours are really specific sometimes. And one of the ones here, this is the end of an incident that happened about 10, 12 years ago. It was on Central Parkway, right behind Music Hall, where District 1, as a young lady was a brand new police officer. She's 23 years old. And a guy jumps out in front of her car and waves her down. And as she stops, he runs right around to the window, takes out a little sack full of ammunition, crashes it right into her face. As she falls over, he pulls out a gun and fires at her. She's bent over in her seat up like this, and he's shooting her with .357 Magnum hollow points right up the thigh, through her pelvic area, her stomach, everything, tears everything apart, pushes her over the seat because he thinks she's dead. She's actually unconscious, temporarily paralyzed from the waist down, gets in the car, takes off, kidnaps her in her own police car. When she comes to, she says, I can't feel anything from the waist down. I got my gun out, I fired 2 shots. I saw the body. Both bullets hitting right here at the base of the ear. One came out the left side of his head, one came out the front of his head. He's going 60 miles an hour. He falls over on her dead. And the car, his foot's still on the gas. And that's how it got stopped. It hit a building up around Ravine and Central Parkway up around there. Listen to this broadcast, and you'll hear her at the beginning screaming, and at the end of it, you'll hear like saying, just kind of like, honey, could you bring the kids in from outside? It's time to eat dinner. And this is what training does if people follow the training correctly, but you also hear a couple of other people in the background, their